Rogue versus Sebastian Shaw, who wins the absorption power clash. Rogue versus Sebastian Shaw. Two mutants with one terrifying similarity. They both grow stronger by taking power from others. One absorbs life force, memories, and abilities with a single touch. The other feeds on energy, turning attacks into unstoppable strength. When these two living power sponges collide, the battle isn't just about strength. It becomes a deadly test of who can outlast, outthink, and outabsorb the other. Today, we're breaking down abilities, weaknesses, battle scenarios, and the final outcome to answer one question once and for all: who truly wins, Rogue or Sebastian Shaw? Origins and power foundations. Rogue's power is one of the most dangerous mutant abilities in Marvel history. With just skin contact, she can absorb someone's memories, skills, and superpowers. But this ability comes at a painful cost. Every time she touches someone, she risks draining their life force. Sometimes, permanently. Her most famous absorption was from Captain Marvel, which permanently gave Rogue super strength, flight, and incredible durability. This turned her into one of the X-Men's strongest frontline fighters. But Rogue's greatest struggle has always been control. Her power isn't just a weapon. It's a curse she lives with daily. Sebastian Shaw, on the other hand, represents the opposite side of absorption. Instead of stealing abilities, Shaw absorbs energy itself. Physical blows, explosions, electricity, heat, all of it makes him stronger. Every attack against him only fuels his power, allowing him to become faster, stronger, and nearly indestructible. Unlike Rogue, Shaw's power has no emotional burden. He embraces it fully. He is calculating, strategic, and ruthless, a businessman villain who sees power as a resource to exploit. So from the start, we see a major contrast. Rogue absorbs life and abilities, while Shaw absorbs raw energy, strength, durability, and combat ability. In pure physical strength, Rogue is already extremely powerful. She can lift massive objects, smash through steel, and fight high-tier Marvel heroes. Her durability allows her to survive explosions, energy blasts, and cosmic-level attacks. Combined with her flight and combat training, Rogue is a devastating close-range fighter. But Sebastian Shaw's durability is on another level. The more energy he absorbs, the harder he becomes to hurt. If Rogue punches him at full strength, Shaw would instantly absorb that kinetic energy and grow stronger from it. This creates a dangerous loop. Every physical attack Rogue uses could actually empower Shaw. In a prolonged fight, Shaw's strength could increase endlessly, while Rogue's base strength remains limited. However, Rogue has one major advantage: versatility. She isn't just strong, she can adapt. Her ability to absorb powers gives her the potential to instantly shift the balance of a fight. So, in raw durability and sustained power growth, Shaw holds the advantage. But in versatility and adaptability, Rogue stands superior. The absorption paradox. Can they drain each other? Here's where this battle becomes truly fascinating. Both characters rely on absorption, but their abilities function very differently. Rogue requires direct skin contact to absorb someone's powers and life force. If she manages to grab Shaw, she could potentially drain his strength, memories, and even his mutant ability itself. But Shaw's power activates automatically when he receives energy. That means if Rogue tries to punch him, Shaw absorbs that energy instantly. Even if she grabs him, the physical contact itself generates kinetic energy, which Shaw would absorb. This creates a paradox. Rogue's touch drains life force, but Shaw feeds on energy created by that very touch. The key question becomes, which absorption works faster? Rogue's power typically drains victims within seconds, often overwhelming them mentally and physically. But Shaw's absorption is instant and automatic, making him extremely difficult to overpower through physical means. So, the battle would likely come down to timing and strategy rather than brute force. Battle scenario: how the fight would unfold. At the start of the fight, Rogue would likely attack physically, using her super strength and flight. Shaw would immediately absorb her punches, becoming stronger with each hit. Realizing this, Rogue would change tactics. Instead of continuous attacks, she would aim for a direct grab, trying to hold Shaw long enough to drain him completely. Shaw, being highly intelligent, would avoid prolonged contact. He would rely on energy sources around him, explosions, impacts, and environmental destruction, to continuously power himself up. As the fight escalates, Shaw would grow stronger over time, potentially reaching levels where Rogue could no longer physically overpower him. However, Rogue has one critical advantage. Her absorption targets not just energy, but life force and consciousness. If she manages even a few seconds of uninterrupted skin contact, Shaw could become overwhelmed mentally and physically. This means the battle would likely be fast, intense, and extremely strategic, with both fighters trying to outmaneuver each other rather than simply overpowering. Final result: who truly wins? So who wins this absorption clash? If the fight turns into a prolonged physical battle, Sebastian Shaw would ultimately win. Every strike Rogue delivers would only increase his stored energy, steadily amplifying his strength, durability, and overall combat dominance, until she could no longer contain him through brute force alone. However, the outcome changes completely if Rogue manages to secure direct, sustained contact. By holding Shaw long enough, her life force absorption could overpower his energy conversion, draining not just his strength, but his mental stability and mutant ability itself. This is the crucial distinction. Rogue's power targets the mind, memories, and core life essence, while Shaw's ability only converts physical and kinetic energy. He can absorb impact, but he cannot shield himself from neurological or biological depletion. Therefore, in most realistic scenarios, the final winner is Rogue, but only through strategy, timing, and decisive close contact. Without that critical grab, Shaw would dominate through limitless energy scaling, but with even a few uninterrupted seconds of absorption, Rogue could shut him down completely. This is what makes their matchup so perfectly balanced. A true clash of absorption versus absorption, where victory is determined not by raw power, but by a single decisive moment of control. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.